Upper90studios.com.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. I know some of you are still suffering after triple captaining Mane, so on today's video, I'm going to show you how I get through the difficult moments. We work so hard to avoid transfer hits, then in one game week, we triple captain Mane instead of Salah and fall behind 40 or 50 points. We have a certain degree of control over our fantasy teams, but in any given week, our plans can be thrown off completely by factors outside of our control. When I suffer a major setback in fantasy, what helps me is to shift my mind away from short-term results. If I had a disastrous game week score, I think in terms of what I can accomplish over the course of a season. When the season is not going well, I look at what I can achieve in 5 or even 10 years. Even though it may not feel like it, this is only a small blip. I've been fortunate to have a history of finishes in the top 1 to 2%, which proves that short-term randomness tends to cancel out. I recently captained Son for negative points, then Vardy for 0 points. In the videos that followed, I spent very little time on those setbacks. My focus was on how to get back on track quickly. There's no such thing as a bad outcome if you turn it into a lesson for the future. Remember, it's an experiment. Don't be so hard on yourself. Your fantasy team, your overall rank, these are not a representation of who you are. The strategies you apply to recover when things go wrong, the compassion you show for others when they're struggling, especially when you're winning, that's what really matters. Before I review Game Week 24, I want to talk about planning, starting with the blank fixtures, Game Week 28. Aston Villa reached the final of the League Cup, and as far as I understand it, this means the Game Week 28 fixture, Villa versus Sheffield United, will be a blank. Grealish, Lundstrom, and Henderson will not feature Game Week 28. Man City versus Arsenal will also be a blank Game Week 28, so players like Aguero, De Bruyne, Mahrez, and Aubameyang will not feature Game Week 28. Leicester City were knocked out of the League Cup, so if available, Vardy and Maddison should play against Norwich Game Week 28 as scheduled. Keep an eye on these blank fixtures when creating your transfer plan. The source I go to for navigating the blank and double game weeks is @BenKrellin on Twitter. Now, how can we prepare for this time of the season when injuries are more frequent? We can't control when Mane is subbed off with injury before halftime. What we can do is to improve team depth with quality options on the bench. I've been carrying over 2 free transfers for a few game weeks now. I don't want to feel forced to use the wildcard or any other chip that might come in handy in the bigger blanks and upcoming double game weeks. With the risk of rotation increasing as top players push into the knockout rounds of the Champions League and other competitions, does it make sense to sell Vardy while weakening the squad depth? Before I answer that, let's talk performances with a Game Week 24 review. 93 points, 40 points above the average. The highest game week score this season has rocketed Upper 90 Studios from 600k to inside 300k in the overall rank. Let's start with the positives. Mo Salah, 48 points, triple captain. He was so selfish in that first game against Wolves, trying to shoot from all angles when there were better options. Salah blanked, and Liverpool were fortunate to come away with all 3 points. The second game against West Ham was completely different, a goal, an assist, and maximum bonus points. He also hit the post and almost provided an assist for Robertson. Alexander-Arnold, 12 points, vice triple captain. Another assist from a corner, a clean sheet, and bonus points. 12 points is a fantastic return for a double game week defender. I wasn't brave enough to captain him, so congrats to those who did. Andrew Robertson, 7 points, had an absolute nightmare against Traore in the first game. He almost gave away a penalty, and he was booked. Robertson did bounce back against West Ham with a clean sheet, and he should have scored. I can remember in the 23rd minute, Salah set up Robertson, he chipped it over Fabianski, but it was cleared off the line. Last season, I also used the triple captain chip on Salah, and my team scored 133 points that week. With these big chips, like the triple captain, I always bet on somebody I can trust. As mentioned on the previous video, Lundstrom and Ings were at risk of being benched Game Week 24. Choosing Robertson over Mane allowed me to keep stronger players on the bench. So when I saw on Twitter that Ings was benched, I swapped him out for Traore just seconds before deadline. For early team lineups, check out at FPL_Rockstar on Twitter before the deadlines. Adama Traore, 5 points. He absolutely destroyed Robertson over and over. No one could get near him, and he deserved more than just the assist. Raul Jimenez, 8 points. I love him. You can see I'm blushing. It's a bromance. With his goal, Jimenez is now averaging over 10 points in his last 2 games, and he continues to deliver consistently at the highest level. Traore and Jimenez have combined for 8 league goals this season, more than any other duo in the competition. Here are my notes on Traore and Jimenez. You can pause the video if you'd like. Now for the negatives, James Maddison 2 points. Leicester scored 4 goals against West Ham, no returns for Maddison. As mentioned on the previous video, sometimes the scoreline can be misleading. Leicester lost against Burnley game week 23 despite attempting 18 shots. They backed it up game week 24 with 19 shots in a convincing 4-1 win over West Ham. Maddison played well, no returns to show for this time. Jamie Vardy 1 point. Vardy missed a penalty in his previous game, then he subbed off with injury before halftime. Big topic this week, keep or sell Vardy. I'm going to show you my transfer plan in just a minute. Matt Ryan 1 point. At the end, I may look back and see all the damage from transfers on the goalkeeper position. I've recently sold Pope, Henderson, then Guaita. The goalkeeper position could be one of my blind spots as an FPL manager, so I appreciate your advice in the comments section as always. James Tompkins 0 points. Crystal Palace were so good against the champions Manchester City in their previous game, and they're completely outplayed by Southampton. This lack of consistency is a nightmare for FPL. Maybe Milivojevic can help get them back on track. I'm happy to keep Tompkins as bench cover. Crystal Palace defenders are now entering a solid run of fixtures. Lundstram and Ings came off the bench for a 1-point cameo. I'm going to continue to use them in a rotation system. So what's the plan for game week 25? I'm happy with the team, the starters, and the bench. Of course, it would be nice to see higher returns in recent weeks, but this group of players has been scoring below their potential. Even though I have 2 free transfers, my plan for game week 25 is to do nothing. I am thinking of ways to use that free transfer so it's not wasted. Originally, I was considering another change on the goalkeeper, possibly Henderson. Now we know that he has a blank game week 28, and also game week 31 against his parent club, Man United. Henderson, he would have to outscore Ryan in the next 3 games, and I'm not sure if that's worth it. This forces another transfer on the goalkeeper game week 28, when Lundstram, Grealish, and De Bruyne already have a blank for my team. Now another option is to sell Tompkins for a cheaper defender, making it easier to replace Vardy later on if needed. Suppose I want Aubameyang for game week 26 and game week 27 before the blank game week 28. At this moment, Vardy to Aubameyang requires 2 moves. If I use a transfer now to free up funds, I can then get Aubameyang in 1 move while still banking the other transfer. I can continue to hold 2 free transfers. A third option is a straightforward move for Luca Digne. This provides Everton cover and a differential against Calvert-Lewin, who has 28% ownership with the experts in the Elite 64 League. Keep in mind, I haven't made any transfers this week. Plan A is to do nothing, which should mean my team is strong. Now it's up to the players to deliver. Thank you for all the likes, subscribes. I appreciate your comments as always, and I wish you big green arrows game week 25. So that's going to be a wrap for today. Stay tuned for my next video. If you like my music, all my songs are free to download on the website. See the link in the description. Be sure to follow at Upper 90 Studios on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, where you'll get an inside scoop before YouTube. And if you're brand new to the channel, be sure to like and subscribe and turn on your post notifications because this season is going to be incredible. Don't forget to subscribe to our email list and get your free fixture difficulty cheat sheet. Click the fantasy tab at upper90studios.com. If you're on a computer, it's at the top right of the page. If you're on the phone, it's at the bottom. Thanks for watching. See you soon.